Now, the famous Catholic Jesuit priest, paleontologist Teilhard de Chardin is famously quoted as saying that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And that is how I look at our life. And I think that's what the standing stones of Stonehenge and other things remind us to remember, is that we are at our essence spiritual beings having a human experience. Now, when we break it all down, we can recognize, and I've often taught it this way, that we live in two worlds at one time. We live in this physical world of stuff. I mean, I had to get up this morning and get dressed and drive down I-25, and I had to navigate traffic and, drink coffee and all of the human stuff that took me in the world of form to get from out of my bed to being here right now. I had to navigate all of the humanness. But at the same time, I'm also recognizing that behind the scenes, there's this spiritual nature that's guiding me and giving me direction for my life and that I can tap into. It's a greater essence that calls me to be the highest expression of who I can be. So I have to live in these two worlds simultaneously. And we shift all the time. We shift all the time. You can come in here and be anchored in spirit, feeling the oneness and the love, and then you can get home and turn on the news and be sucked into the world of form and all the drama. And every day we navigate between these two places, our earthly human experience and our spiritual experience. So what does Science of Mind and Ernest Holmes and our philosophy tell us about all this? I mean, there are people who say, oh, only the world of spirit is real. In philosophy, I think this is called idealism. But it's the idea that the stuff over there, the matter, the physical stuff, is not really real. It's an illusion. Well, try living your life like that's an illusion. I would not be here if I had done that today. I would have still probably be up in my bed at home, I have to navigate that world to be over here as well. So I can't treat it totally as an illusion. However, there are people over here that say the only stuff that's really real is matter, is physical stuff. In fact, a lot of scientists believe that. They believe that the only thing that we can give credence to is physical reality, things we can measure and see and sense. But there's a part of us that knows there's limitations to that as well. There's chinks in that armor. One chink is the fact that they can't explain conscious awareness. I mean, they can explain the mapping of the brain and the correlations between what brain cells fire and what states, but they can't explain that you're sitting there right now with a sense of you and your story and you're listening to me. How does my words and this concept and what you're thinking about give rise to that sense of experience you're having right now? And science and materialism can't really explain that. And there's a lot of other things that are chinks in the armor of that story. So what we are left with is what's really real? What's really real? Is it all spirit or is it all matter? Well, what Science of Mind teaches and what Ernest Holmes liked to say is that there is a world of spirit, the absolute God. This is where our ultimate truth is. This is where, when we're speaking truth to circumstance, which is the theme of the month, this is where we go to get the truth. It's in the world of spirit. It's in the world of oneness. That's where we tap into our true reality of who we're supposed to be. And then we live in this world of form and we have circumstances going on. And sometimes those circumstances are less than what we want. You have divisiveness going on in the world. You have war. You have conflict. You have the essence of maybe not having enough. Poverty, homelessness. We can point at all the things that are less than what we want that are existing in the world of form. Yet we know over here in the world of spirit, there's a higher vision that's calling us to create and manifest that world. Now, what Holmes said is they're both real, but this is our ultimate reality. And he said famously that this is real as form. What he also said is that we live, and if those of you are familiar with our teaching symbol, you can see this in the symbol, that there's a continuous flow from spirit into form and out of form and back to spirit. Continuous flow. And he used to say that the spiritual substance is in liquid form when we're over here in the non-material. And the spiritual substance is in a temporary state of solidness when it's in the world of form. And so this body that you have, this church, and all that our experiences are really over here in this world of form, but they're a temporary state where spirit is experiencing itself as you and me through these states temporarily before we melt back into the liquid state of spirit. Does this make sense? Okay, so we're moving between these two, and it's a continuous flow. It's easy to see it as an either or, but what I want to do for the next few minutes and where I'm leading is hopefully a little idea that maybe will anchor into your awareness that it's not an either or. What we have before us is actually a gradient or a scale where we can move between the two extremes, between God and oneness on the full, to a total forgetfulness of our oneness, and totally embracing separation, fear, doubt, and our limited state of humanness over here. Many times we, especially here if you're anchored in this philosophy, you float around. You float around from day to day, moment to moment, okay? And what I want you to be able to do is to say, how can I move more over here into anchoring myself in my spiritual truth and use that as the guidepost for creating the world I'm experiencing over here in form? Because they're both real, but this is the ultimate truth.